Hi, and welcome to That Guy's a Maniac, the podcast. I'm your host, Richie.
And I'm your host, Kanzi11, aka Farley. Cue the music. Richie, what do we have this week on the podcast?
In a classic style, we're going for a What Are You Playing?
Do we come up with a re-title for this?
Yes, What Are You Playing?
Oh, of course. It's baked in.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
What are you playing?
What are we playing?
Yeah.
Catchy. But first...
Yes. First, we've got the fun game. The fun game. Tell them the rules.
It's called Character Item Level. I'll be so glad when it's season 6. Every time it doesn't feel natural to say Character Item Level. You know, I don't know what. There's another sound that wants to come out, but it's not like anyway, Character Item Level. One of us has a character item or level from a video game in our head. The other one has to guess it.
Yeah, I mean, we originally had character item environment, which was just like, what? Not a nice thing to say.
True.
No. Character item level. Okay, in that case, I will start guessing. Is it character item or a level?
I am representing the underrepresented, and I'm going for a level.
A level. Is it a Mario Kart course?
No.
Oh, damn it. Is it from a Nintendo franchise?
No.
Is it from a Capcom franchise?
Yes.
Is it from Resident Evil?
No.
Okay. Is it from Dino Crisis?
No.
Is it from Mega Man?
No.
Is it from Marvel vs. Capcom?
No.
Capcom vs. Ninja?
No.
Ooh. Okay, is it
Maybe.
from Devil May Cry?
I reserve the right for it to be a maybe. No.
Okay. Is it from Darkstalkers?
No.
No. Okay. Right. I feel like I've gone through every Capcom. Is it from Monster Hunter?
No. Although with all these ones you're listing, apart from the fighting games, I'd love to tell me a level from Resident Evil 2.
Well, I don't know. I reckon level is quite contemplative. So you could have I don't know, the guardhouse from Resident Evil 1, or you could have the sewers, or that save room that's in the middle bit where Ada puts a bandage on you in Resident Evil 2.
Ada, wait.
Agar plate. Right, okay. So none of these franchises. What other Capcom games are there? Dragon's Dogma. I've not played. That would be evil.
It's not from Dragon's Dogma. I can confirm.
Okay. What else do we have? There's that snow one. What's it called?
Yeah, there is. It was fucking brilliant, and they only made 3 of them.
Yeah, Lost Planet.
Lost Planet. That was great. Such a great trilogy. Oh my god. One of the greatest couch co-op games I've ever played, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I loved the idea of it, and it was very, 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 very forefront of the 360 generation, and I just never got round to it. I'm annoyed. It's on my list of alongside a million other Capcom games that I can't think of right now.
Yeah, it was fucking fantastic. I think it was okay single player. Kind of a bit like Monster Hunter, but future maybe.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, the three games are quite different. But in co-op, it was something. Yeah, it was something else. It became a different game.
Right. Is it an old Capcom franchise?
An old Capcom franchise.
Capcom.
Capcom franchise. Define your terms.
Is this franchise from the NES days and before?
No.
SNES days?
No.
Okay. Oh, no, it can't be Street Fighter if you're saying that. Is it Captain Commando? No, again, no. Right, Capcom games.
Yeah.
God damn it! How is there not more? I must know this game. I must.
Yeah, I can't believe you got to Lost Planet before you got to the game that I've got in mind.
Onimusha. No.
Oh, that'd be a good shout. No.
That'd be a tough one. I could not name a level from Onimusha. Onimusha World.
Paris, France.
It's not Street Fighter, not Mega Man.
Just start going through the.
Oh, is it the Dead Rising?
Yes, it's from Dead Rising.
Is it the shopping mall in Dead Rising?
It is Willamette Mall.
Brilliant. Oh man.
Which is a level in Capcom versus Tatsunoko, which is one I was like, oh, could be in Marvel versus Capcom, but I don't know if it is or not.
Oh yeah, it could be. It very, very much could be. What was that? I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I think there's no a mall level, but like Frank's moves are just hilarious.
Yeah, basically drops a zombie in a trolley.
You run with the trolley and stuff like that, and pull out random things. It's excellent. Yeah.
Now, interesting fact for you.
Yeah.
In searching for a Capcom game, you named 9 of Capcom's top 10 multi-million selling franchises. I'd like to hazard a guess at the one you missed.
Is it a well-known franchise?
Yeah.
Do you think it's one that I have played?
Definitely, yeah. It's number 7 on the list. So I'll give you the order of the rest. Well, actually, welcome to the Capcom podcast. Care to guess what Capcom's top 10 multi-million selling franchise is as of the September 2024?
The top one, I'm going to say Street Fighter?
No, that's number 3 with 55 million sales. Units
Resident
sold.
Evil?
Yes, 163. Wow. That's number 1. Number 2 is at 105 million, so between Street Fighter and Resident Evil. Care to have a hazard a guess?
I have no idea what that could be.
Big in Japan.
Dragon's Dogma. Oh, Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter.
Yes. Yeah. Well done. Then it's Mega Man. Then this one's surprising to me. It's Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Then Dead Rising.
5 games.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's quite a big jump as well. So we're now down to like a sixth of what Resident Evil's made. This is Devil May Cry, then Dead Rising, then Dragon's Dogma, then the one you missed, then Marvel vs. Capcom, then Onimusha.
Is it the... Wait a minute. Was that Capcom the Fox Brushstrokes one?
Yes. Oh my god. All I want to say is Onimusha.
That's all I want to say as well.
Oh my... Okami. Yeah. I think there were only 2 of those. They did release them for every single platform going, including microwaves, pregnancy tests, and calculators. But apparently, according to Wikipedia, it didn't beat Onimusha's sales.
So what is number 7?
Number 7 Yep. It's how would you describe it? It's a visual novel.
Oh, Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, Ace Attorney.
Yeah, of course. I
So,
like
yeah,
Phoenix Wright. That was a good time.
yeah, no, not bad. Did you smashed the narrowing down the Capcom games?
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy with that. Okay, so we return to the regularly scheduled program, and I ask the question: what are you playing, Barley?
Thanks for asking, Richie. Recently, I've been playing a whole bunch of games, and that's because my secret offshore patron, MW, has recently passed on a PlayStation 5 and
Nice.
a PlayStation VR 1.
Ooh, okay.
Which, after about 8 days of setup, I have managed to get working. The fucking account system in PlayStation, it's fine. It's fine, but it's slow as fuck. And the PlayStation just never has enough space. I don't understand how. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y-
They're expecting you to have like fiber, and you just don't care. You go and make a cup of tea whilst 100 gigs downloads, and then
Yeah.
you come back. That's it.
So, because obviously, as we've talked about before, the PlayStation 5's not really much different from the PlayStation 4. And, essentially backwards compatible with issues with almost every single PlayStation 4 game. You can kind of set it up, back in the goofy days of when you got like a DS, right? Or do you remember when the process between the Wii U and the Wii, we kind of have to have them both on, and then the
yes.
Pikmin carry or stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like, okay, do you want to transfer your shit from PlayStation 4? I was like, yes, please. It's like, okay, you have to keep both systems on. Like, don't turn them off. Don't twiddle with the power cable, etc. And then after about half an hour, it was like, and this will be done in 12 hours?
What?
Yeah. So, okay. I
Was
guess
it
I won't.
uploading and downloading at the same time, or was it just going? That's exactly what it'll have been doing. That's exactly what it'll be doing.
Yeah, kind of. So there was on the PlayStation 5, this is so boring. I have all the things to talk about having a new console, but it's how the process starts. On the PlayStation 5, you do have to watch a very slow bar kind of go, we're preparing, and then it says, okay, you can play, and it will do it in the background. And on the PlayStation 4, it's just, do not turn this off for 12 hours. So I've done that. So yeah, mostly playing PlayStation 4 games. There's a weird warning if you wouldn't have had cause to do it, but when you shop in the PlayStation Store, for most of the games which aren't PlayStation 5 exclusive, obviously it says PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, this game is designed for the PlayStation 4, and you will not have as good an experience if you play on the PlayStation 5.
That seems weird.
Yeah, it does seem weird, right? Like, surely you just... So some games, so for example, what was one? Lego Skywalker Saga.
Okay.
You can, for free, upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version. I don't know if it... I didn't, because I don't know if it remembers where you were, and I didn't want to,
yeah,
download
files, yeah.
90 gigs of a game to be like, oh, okay, it doesn't. So some games do that, which is nice. Others don't, because they don't have a PlayStation 5 version.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's had some weird graphics things happen in some of them. Some hard crashing. Anyway, one of the games, in fact, my first ever PlayStation 5 game was... Oh, God, I can never remember the fucking name. Like, every time I've Googled it, I've had to Google it. Just all the nouns, and it says, do you mean this? Yeah. Still Wakes the Deep.
Still Wakes the Deep.
Still Wakes the Deep.
Still Waits the Deep. Okay.
Still wakes, as in awake.
Okay, still wakes the deep.
The
Okay.
deep. It is, you may remember, or you may have seen, trailers for it. It's set on an oil rig in the 1970s.
Nope.
Oh, okay, it's great. From the Chinese Room, I think, who are famous for walking simulators. And it is a bit of a walking simulator, but yeah, you are set on an oil rig in the 1970s. Kind of cool to see all the 1970s trappings. And then things start going wrong.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've not heard of this at all.
The drill hits something it shouldn't hit, and then the rest of the story is you pretty much following a very clever, albeit linear, corridor. And I'm enjoying it.
It's kind of like Layers of Fear.
Did you play Everyone's Gone to the Everybody's Gone to the Rapture?
No, I haven't.
Did you play A Machine for Pigs? Amnesia Machine for Pigs?
No, I didn't.
Oh, those are also both good games.
Yeah.
But they are, yeah, you would. I can hear your opinion about them. They are walking simulators, right?
Listen, I like the survival horror ones. Like when I would mention Layers of Fear.
Yeah.
It's a walking simulator.
Yeah.
I hated what was it? Oh, the one about the girl who's in the family.
Is it Gone Home?
Yeah, Gone Home. It's just I wanted it to be scary. I wanted it to do something, but the story was just yawn factor 12. But and I know I'm sort of hand waving it, but I struggled with it. But Layers of Fear is like you literally just walking around and like opening a door and then you turn around and the door's changed, everything's changed. It's scary. I love that sort of stuff. I guess this is similar.
Yeah, it's less kind of demo scene jank in that way. It's more a story plays out. Feels a bit like Half-Life, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, the early part of like none of the mechanics. You don't have a crowbar, none of that. But the early part of Half-Life, where you go to your job and then things go wrong and you kind of walk back through it. It feels a bit like that. So there's
that's cool. Yeah.
Part of the game where everything's normal, and then a big part of the game where things are not normal. And I say in terms of horror, I'd say the genre's kind of I've not finished it yet, but the genre's kind of cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror?
Yeah.
Oh, is it aliens?
No, you kind of like Lovecraftian.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, everything's gone tits due to some uncaring higher power. Is the feeling that I'm getting from so far.
Okay.
Anyway, loving it.
Beings as opposed to
Yeah.
I get you.
Really, really loving it. You might get an extra kick out of it because it's set on a Scottish oil rig.
Right.
With the politics of the time, like you find out, you get to have like a rummage through your crewmates' rooms for a bit. There's someone who's like a National Front member. There's quite a few people who, there's got like posters, stuff like Scottish oil for Scotland kind of thing. Yeah, and everybody speaks. It'd be interesting to see what you think. Everyone speaks with varying degrees of Scottish dialect.
Okay.
And to a non-Scottish person, it sounds like they're kind of on the good side of the line. But sometimes I think it does stray into, English people pretending to be Scottish people. Scottish.
Right, okay.
So I think, and it's always a bit cringy to see if you play with subtitles on, which I do because I'm an old man and deaf now.
Yep.
To see some of them written out, is that? Never really seen it Scottish dialect being written out like that.
Yeah, I find like when you phonetically write out words,
Yeah, like
it just becomes
Wayne
so
and
annoying. You have it's an
Ken.
extra level of thinking.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Ken's fine because he is saying that, but it's like the changing the way the word's spelled rather than actually saying what it means. It bugs me.
Yeah. It's a like a phonetic translation. It's a
Yeah,
subtitle, not a interpretation.
yeah.
They also added a fun thing / slightly annoying thing,
All right.
because you can play with the language set to Scottish Gaelic.
Oh, okay. That must be. I can't believe I've not heard of this. That must be a
And
big fan for a lot of people.
there is a specific trophy for playing the entire game through with that set as your language setting.
Okay.
Which, of course, I did not spot at the beginning. So,
You're playing again?
playing again with the what's it called? Bear and I don't know how you read Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic.
Okay.
Bear and Quan a cwd fein amach. Apparently.
Okay.
There you
Well
go.
done on you.
Yeah. Anyway, that's fun and I like it. And one of the things I like about it is the atmosphere and the sense that you're like, oh, okay, great, this is a walking simulator, so I can just do it and get it done. And there's no battle pass. And there's no log in every day to unlock wrench skins or anything. It's just a pure story.
Yeah, a one shot.
Yeah, basically a one shot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that one. It's very frustrating that there's so much out there where they want you to do it a million times and a million different things.
Yeah. And of course you don't have to, but then another part of you is like, well, do I get less value for money for this game? I mean, I didn't pay for this game, so what do I care? But yeah, do I get less value for money because I only access 10% of it because I don't want to make it my hobby every night?
Yeah, well, you have to draw a line with a lot of these games as well. You have to, otherwise you just no. There's a level for a lot of these games where you're just like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I don't know, some massive RPG. You just gotta say no. You know what?
Yes.
I think I'm done there.
Yeah, I every now and then I have a look at the current Dragon Quest, right? And it looks beautiful and it sounds beautiful. I bet that's a really good game. But then, the part of me that's like, come on, you don't have time for this wonderful, beautiful cinematic experience. So there we go. Still Wakes the Deep. I give it 8,000 cosmic horrors out of infinity.
Out of infinity.
Yeah.
Okay. That does put it in perspective.
Well, it's the uncaring universe. We're all just specks. Random
We're all
specks.
just specks.
Yeah. As in small motes, not pairs of glasses.
Yeah. We're all just specks on the nose of the gods.
We're all just corrective lenses within a frame.
We're all just that third pair of corrective reading glasses that sit in your bedside cabinet collecting dust.
We're all a pair of varifocals that you're too self-conscious to wear because it confirms to the rest of the world that you are the old person you know to be in your heart.
Let's not continue down this path.
So not on that note, on a different note, Richie, what have you been playing?
That's quite good. I have been playing quite a few things, revisiting and continuing things as per my resolutions. But mostly...
Oh, fuck, yeah, I completely forgot about resolutions.
PS5's just fucked them all.
Oh, no, yeah, I know. I need to have a look at that. Those. Get back on it.
Yeah, so I'll be playing 2 Point Museum.
Oh, yeah, everyone, not everybody, but this game did break through to the mainstream recently.
Yes.
I saw it covered in the proper newspapers and everything. Tell me about it. I know nothing beyond it being a 2 Point game, and I'm vaguely aware of 2 Point games.
So 2 Point games, as you may or may not be aware, are the spiritual successors to the theme hospital and theme park games. And in fact, our Bullfrog. It's quite fun to see the logo come up again. Like,
oh, wow,
Bullfrog.
okay.
So it's the same people that did Syndicate, the first one.
Yeah.
And it's...
Did they do Dungeon Keeper as well? Bullfrog?
Maybe.
Sorry, carry on.
But in this one, and bear in mind I haven't got very far.
Yeah.
But in this one, you start off. You have a museum. You send. Well, you have lots of different staff as per the usual theme hospital shenanigans.
Yeah.
So you get janitors. You get shop assistants, and you get experts. So the experts being the sort of the museum experts, people who know things about things. They all have different jobs within the museum. In the museum, you entirely make yourself. And you have everything aesthetically, like if you want to change the floors, if you want to change the walls, it's entirely free. And it's your call what you do. But exhibits you have to get, and that's where the bit of the gamification comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get exhibits, you need to send people off on
Fieldwork
expeditions. Yeah.
Okay.
And on this expeditions, you have to send usually experts, but you might need a janitor or your security guard or whatever. And they have to have certain traits unlocked as well. So there's a bit of management there. It's all management in that sort of level. And of course, you need to be able to be turning a profit in your museum based on how you've set it out and like how good you guys are, but also be able to send people away at the same time as not lose money by sending them away. So there's a little bit of walking that tightrope. To be honest, you're never really gonna run out. If you just stop sending people on expeditions, you will make money. You can just fast forward time and walk away, sort of thing. Assuming you've set things up all right. And then you follow a sort of a menu of achievements of sorts.
Okay.
So you've got to do this, and you've got to get 1 star for your museum, and then once you've got 1 star for your museum, you branch out, and you can go to another museum. And so the first museum that you get is entirely fossils. So it's got things like you collect bits of a stegosaurus, except it's not just a stegosaurus. It's like you get an ankylosaurus, but instead of the club at the end, it's a punch, my boxing glove.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so things like that. So there's a nice sort of whimsy through the entire thing. You can do such things as name all of your characters as well, so that your inner 12-year-old can really go nuts there as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like all these exhibitions, you get things like you go on expeditions to cold areas, so you bring back frozen exhibitions. So it's like Ice Age style things. So you get a woolly mammoth, you get a man standing in it, You also get a fridge in a block of ice, and you've got to have a
Nice.
room which is nice and cold so that it can stay there, and that sort of thing. So that the management and all these sort of things, like, and you get stuff in amber, and that's the fossil one.
Yeah.
After you do a certain amount, you get to go to your second museum, and then this is where I don't have enough knowledge, but I opened my second museum, and I chose the Spooky Museum.
All right.
So this is a museum that's based on ghosts.
Okay.
So it has sort of exhibits that are like a creepy doll, a marionette that occasionally moves. It has like the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic things, and you've got to collect them. You also have to collect spirits as well, and you keep the spirits in rooms.
Right.
And they're like, if they're Victorian ones, you want to keep them together, but if they are like I don't know, Iron Age ones, you want to keep them separate as well.
Oh, so this is kind of like real ghost curation.
Yeah, it's real ghost curation.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. You know, none of that bullshit ghost curation.
Yeah. Based on
you see on the Discovery Channel or something.
based on how you would properly organise ghosts in the real Museum of Ghosts.
But yeah, and it adds a little bit extra because you have to design, and you can play about with their rooms as well to make them a bit more nice and things like that, and all sorts of things. You can change how the flow of the shop works. You've got to set toilets, you've got to set amenities, and all this sort of stuff in your museum. I have got to a point in the game, which isn't very far. I finished all of the achievements for my second museum, and now I have to go back to the first museum. But they just said to me, oh, hey, you can now buy this new plot next to your museum. So I've got this massive big plot, as in like a whole new place where I can build a whole new museum.
Uh-huh.
And it's a giant blank canvas. It's a big square, and I am scared by it. I'm just like, oh, how do I split things up? I need to rip the old museum apart. So I've spent about maybe 3 hours on this alone.
Okay,
with
yeah.
everything being paused. So I'm not making money. I'm not
Okay,
doing anything.
yeah.
I'm just straight up
Just thinking.
making, and I'm still not happy with it. I'm just making 2 museums, and it's so imposing that I've had to take a little break from it. But yeah, like there was other choices as well. So I chose the Spooky Museum. I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was maybe like underwater or aquarium style.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's like 5 or 6 other museum styles
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can choose.
yeah.
But once you unlock them, you can use them in any museum. So your fossil museum can have a spooky exhibits room. Sort of
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
And you also unlock things like you have interactive fun things like a Stegosaurus slide for kids to keep them entertained, so you can attract more families to the museum and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just all that management stuff, and it's just done really well. It's not too system intensive either. It's quite straightforward. And I don't like it. The controls were easy. Like, it's mouse and keyboard, or you can use the controller. I was using the controller for a little while, and it was fine. It's quite intuitive, and it just comes naturally, which is I know that sounds really weird, but I think for a game like that, for it just to understand and for you to know what you want to do, and it does it, is really helpful. But I guess it's like their third game and iteration of the 2 points.
Yes, and because I find with those kinds of games, it'd be interesting to see how long it hold your attention. So I'm thinking about things like Theme Hospital, Roller Coaster Tycoon. There's also quite a good Jurassic Park builder that I spent a bit of time on.
Yeah.
And you do spend that early game kind of finding how things work and unlocking your tech tree. Some of them are like, remember Theme Hospital would give you those kind of levels, right? It would be like, keep your hospital open until the 3rd month, and then when you did that, it would give you a new hospital, and I think eventually at some point you unlock free mode. Because for me, there's enjoyment in the kind of discovery and kind of building all the things, different things you can build. But then at one point, it hits my, like, I guess like a stress ceiling, right? Like, okay, there's way too much going on here, and I can't cope with, like, there's always something going wrong, be it, and I don't. Have you come across?
It's not been too stressful on that sort of level, so
okay, it'd be interesting to see if they start introducing events, right? Because in Jurassic Park World Builder, sometimes like a tornado would just rip through, right? And then it would take down your fences. You'd have to close the park. You'd have to do all these kind of things. In Theme Hospital, occasionally, do you remember there'd be like
outbreaks and things
like that? And then everyone would just be bulking everywhere, and then you'd have to like employ 3 janitors to just clean up the sick because everyone was puking and making everyone else sick, and then everyone was unhappy because the hospital was disgusting, and then the rats are running like, oh god, it's so stressful. Or occasionally, like you're in other games, you have to maintain a power plant in order to keep things going.
So like the equivalent of that has been like the exhibits need maintenance,
right?
And so passively your experts are just going to be doing that. So it just depends on how many you employ, and keeping that management level of, I'm going to be sending you guys away, but also you need to look after everything as well. So there is that sort of bit to it. With the Ghost Museum, there was a section where it kept on saying, you've got to keep your ghosts happy, otherwise they'll escape. I just immediately kept them happy, like, and I never had any. There was never a point where I was thinking, oh god, they're going to escape. It was like, and also you can just like pick them up and say, you know what, I'm going to archive you for a little while until I make the perfect room for you, and then I'll put you back in it. Like there wasn't a great deal of peril in the game so far, which I've actually appreciated, because I know exactly what you're talking about with it. There's no way I can keep on top of, or it's just like, as you were talking about in Theme Hospital, I was getting fucking PTSD of everybody being sick everywhere, and then you're just like, oh my god, please just don't let anything happen right now, and like, oh, an inspector is coming, and like,
or like, a dinosaur breaks out and starts eating the guests, and all of a sudden, unsurprisingly, your popularity starts plummeting because people are leaving bad reviews as they run screaming for their life to the helicopter to get off the island. But it's just at the point where you've perhaps stretched your budget too far. You've got like, a new section of the park that's building, and you've also sent paleontologists out to a site to get fossils for the next exhibit. And you're like, no,
and also you're really excited to get the next thing up.
You just spread yourself too thin, and then disasters happen. Okay, what can I sell, or what can I? That's when I tap out of those games. How many, I guess, stars on TripAdvisor would you give it?
I'll give it. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5, and I'm gonna give it that score, because I think if you'd have asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, oh my god, this is 5 out of 5. This is the game. This is amazing. But as you were sort of saying, it hit the mainstream. It had a zeitgeist, but I think it's gone. It's really candle in the wind shenanigans here. It is just gone already. Like, nobody cares about it. I want to go back to it, but like the next big thing might come along and I'll be more interested in that. But it's weird. There are games that you want to come back to, and I love the idea of the management and all this sort of stuff. But if I leave that game more than a month or two, I'm going to come back to it and I'm going to be like, right, I've got the big square second hospital. It's second museum, right? Okay, I know what I have to do. And then I'll be like, shit, I've forgotten the controls. No, I've forgotten this, that.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be gone. And I think, there's that initial zeitgeist, and I think exactly what you were saying. There is a burnout point, and I think people are already past that. I don't think anybody's talking about 2 Point Hospital anymore. Yeah, it does.
yeah.
But yeah, that's it. What are you playing? What else are you playing?
What else?
On the PS5.
Am I playing on the PS5 post transfer? So, in a way that we talked about previously with the weird half generation jump that the PlayStation 5 is, I thought, and we talked about it on the podcast, that Resident Evil 4 was not a PlayStation 4 game, but it is.
Yeah.
There's something about it that made me think, oh, it's not, so I won't be able to play it. So I saw this, I think it was some spring sale, and I was like, great, and it was insanely cheap. Like, I don't understand the economics of it.
Is this Resident Evil 4 remake?
Yeah, remake, yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let's jiggle some bloody memory around and download that. And then whilst I was on the shop to get it, I accidentally ended up not buying Resident Evil 4 and downloading and playing through most of Senran Kagura. Estival Versus?
Estival Versus.
Estival Versus.
So that's not even the first one.
No, I don't. I think it's the only one. I think the reason I got there is because the PlayStation Store is awful on PlayStation 4, and it's even worse on PlayStation 5. And so there's no easy way to look for, show me all games. So I think I had everything filtered by cost.
That's a standard way to filter. Good call.
But because it's so bad, the first 51 pages was Senran Kagura cosmetics.
All of the DLC for 15 pence.
Yeah, or nothing. A lot of it was for nothing. And so it's just after scrolling through 5 pages, what the fuck is this Senran Kagura game? I had a look at it, and then to my great shame, I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks fun."
Yeah.
For those of you not aware, it is a series. It's a manga. It's an anime, and there's a number of games now. It's one of those crazy game series where, if you were a hardcore Senran Kagura fan, you would have to have a PSP and a DS, and there's entries on random consoles, and it follows a bunch of shinobi ninjas, and their rivals. They're in high school, yeah, and I guess what some people know it as is the game where everyone has honking bazungas that flap around. Massive Massive
Fingers.
breasts. Basically, they all have breasts, and as they fight each other, their clothes get torn off.
It's a highbrow game.
It's a highbrow game. But as I said to Richie, maybe was it on the podcast? Maybe it was off the podcast. Once you get over that, there's a little bit of titillation, and in this one, it's a third person combat. It's kind of like Dynasty Warriors, but there's so little complexity to it. You do, as you level up your characters, you do unlock different moves, but it's really just mashing combinations of buttons. And there are certain on each level. The premise of the game is that you've all been whizzed away to like Shinobi heaven.
Okay.
And you have to. There's these towers. There's these like 48 towers, and each of the rival factions has their own towers, and everyone has to race to destroy the most towers, or the person who destroys the last tower, I guess. And then that team. This is like 5 teams of all these characters. Gets to fight this new baby threatening demon. If you're not familiar with Senran Kagura, which I was not before buying this game, it makes no fucking sense at all.
No sense at all.
And so then I thought, okay, let's watch the anime, because there's like each of the characters, okay, and it is the very worst of anime. Like each of the female characters represents, a trope you've seen a million times before, including, there's one who's a pervert, right? And everything that comes out of her mouth is some weird, pervy, call me a dog, horribleness.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the, what do you call it? What do they call them in Japan? The class leader or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of well-to-do prefect type character.
Yeah.
Then you've kind of got your anime protag. Then you've got the character who has small breasts, and that's pretty much their entire character, right?
Being stroppy. Yeah.
Yeah, being stroppy and being bullied for having small breasts. Then you've got various kind of ones that are obsessed with another one. So it's just pretty schlocky tropey, but I thought, okay, there's clearly stories and relationships, and because they're in Shinobi heaven, there's a chance that they can meet their dead ancestors. So some of the characters have a dead sister, some of the characters have a dead mum. So there is depth there. So I watched the anime, which is weird, because it didn't show much of that at all, or the big gaps. So there's only 2 seasons of the anime available. The second season is very, very different to the first one. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, all right. It's weird. So yeah, it kind of fights like Dynasty Warriors, but on each level in this heaven, there are special like finishes. If you beat one of the other female characters nearby a particular area, something will happen. So like in one of them, their clothes burst off and they get caught up in a volleyball net. In another one, their clothes burst off and like an octopus crawls on them. In another one, their clothes burst off and they end up in a delivery box with a sign saying "free to good home" or something. Etc. Right? It's all it's all a variation on a theme, with clothes coming off and something else happening.
Yeah.
Then the thing that impresses me most about it is the customization is insane, right? So you can, it's also like a, what do you call them, magical transformation.
Yeah, magical girl transformation.
Magical girl transformation, except they can change in 2 ways. One of which is they can change to being completely naked. And their attack goes really high, but their defense is really low. And another one is they transform into their alter ego, which vary. There's all kinds of weird ones. So yeah, I've kind of been playing through that.
Okay.
And having a good time. So,
Yeah.
so like, yeah, so like I say, once you get over that initial titillation, although I'm kind of loath to even call it titillation, that's not really what keeps you playing. It's the like, oh, I kind of want to know what happens with this story, even though, you know, at one point in the story, this is spoilers for Senran Kagura Estival versus one of the characters wants to like annoy the kind of grandmother shinobi who's taken them all to shinobi heaven by making up fake contests for them to do. And one of them is a panty stuffing race.
Okay.
Where they stuff panties in their mouth. It's not a cutscene. It's kind of told through a text on the screen, and then you get like a image once you finish the mission.
Right.
Yeah. There we go. But so the character customization is you can customize your character before transformation, after transformation.
Yeah,
And
like there's so much, and that's why you have like a million DLCs.
Yeah.
And like you can play about with it an
Yeah.
awful lot.
Yeah, and you can, say there's like a hibiscus flower, you can have it in the preset, in the hair on the left hand side, on the right hand side, before they transform, after they transform. But you can also like put the hibiscus wherever, right? So if you wanted it, hanging off a shoulder or something, you could do that as well. There's a shop which kind of works in a lottery, and it has like, I don't know, 190 different lingerie sets for you to unlock. It's all much of a muchness. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. But it's really interesting to me because it is a franchise that doesn't. I wouldn't be able to point to you as to okay, where is its core existence? Right, it's not like say completely inappropriate comparison, like Pokemon, right? You can say okay, yeah, that is a game primarily. And everything is like loosely based around that game. Whereas this, it's like there's a series of an anime, but the story is told. I think there's some canon events that happen in some cooking game that are referenced in this game.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
there's lots of spin-offs for the Senran Kagura series as well.
Yeah, but so the characters will be referencing events from the PSP cooking spin-off.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. As I learned from trying to read some of the bios of the characters. So there we go. The other thing about it is it's quite easy, so it's just a case of bashing through each level.
That's the thing, is like I quite like the fighting in it. It's quite fun. Do you know what I mean? It is of the sort of Dynasty Warriors / everything, and you get a lot of satisfaction from doing air combos and things like that.
Yeah, they could. I mean, I understand why they don't, because there probably wouldn't be any Senran Kagura. You could probably remove all of the big, whopping, flappy breast bits and the making each other naked and the naked specials, and it would be a decent game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the gameplay that kept me playing, rather than the. Oh, I wonder. And there was a bit like, oh, there's a signpost. I wonder what happens if I knock out a character near this signpost.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, that horrible thing happened.
There's also a crossover with Neptunia as well.
Yes, and I think there is some of the not free DLC is I think it's Ayani from Dead or Alive.
Oh, okay, yeah. And there is a weird there's a link as well, the anime Fairy Tail.
Oh yeah.
There is a guild in the Fairy Tail anime, and one of the characters is called Kagura, and she looks very much like one of the characters from Senran Kagura.
Okay.
And there's a link there.
There we go.
Well, that's an odd one.
Yeah, and it was an odd route to get there. And there's just these 50 pages of weird DLC. And I was like, okay, what is this game? Because I'd always heard, it's a bit like, I don't know, this probably isn't okay to say, but it's a bit like a couple of franchises which you hear of. What is that? It's like Shin Megami Tensei was one of them, right?
Yes.
Every now and then you'd hear about, oh yeah, Shin
And
Megami
like,
Tensei.
Dante's in it. Oh.
Yeah. You'd be like, but if you've heard of it and you had no idea what it was, you're like, oh yeah, no, occasionally people mention Shin Megami Tensei, or oh, that eventually spun off to be the Persona, but it could be a, I don't know, football game, could be a visual novel, could be a...
absolutely anything, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely anything. The Atelier series, which I've mentioned before, is one of those as well. Like, you do a bit of digging and you find out there's 58 of them, and special edition trilogies, £499. It has this huge fan base. Oh, cool! I've literally never heard of this game before. And then you start looking at the Wikipedia page. And, oh, okay, there was some pretty major but still niche crossovers with XYZ. So, oh, okay, I just never come across it before.
Or the Yes series.
Yes, yeah. Or even Hyperdrive Neptunia, right, which pops up here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, there is only 5 canon entries, but there's a fun other games in there as well. Canon. There's only one. There's only one good one. I'll be honest with you, and it's the third one. The other ones are a bit rubbish in comparison. Anyway, how many scantily clad ninjas would you give it out of 4?
I think I'd give it 3.5, and they get a bonus half for having a nonsense subtitle, right? Estival versus, and that doesn't come up at all. It's not called the Estival. They're not at the Estival.
It's just a bullshit name.
It's just a bullshit name. Estival versus. So they get half a point for anime bullshit title. Yeah, 3.5. Scantily clad.
Ninjas.
Rogue ninjas. Yeah, my favorite group is there's a group that used to be they were the bad guys in the anime, and then the shady organization they unwittingly worked for went away. So now, as I've gathered from this game and the second series, they have to do like odd jobs in between all the ninjaing. And they're just constantly poor and hungry. It's a bit like Team Rocket. You know how Team Rocket...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're the underdogs. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though in the first season of the anime they were like the big bads, right, and each of them were introduced, and each of the protagonists from the good ninjas, had kind of an opposite, and they'd fight each other, and now they're just the goofy girls who don't have the jobs and looking to do anything.
Brilliant, fantastic, blasting off again.
Some free food, yeah, and they're kind of everyone else is in school outfits because they all go to different ninja schools, but they're just in like street clothes because they don't have a school.
Because they're delinquents.
Yeah, they're rogue ninjas. They're my favourites.
Cool. Okay.
What have you been playing?
Right, I'll just finish this one off quite slowly, quite quickly.
Okay.
I have been playing.
It's a trail.
I know.
This is going to go on for quite a bit, guys.
The whole of next week's podcast is sorted.
Yeah.
No, I've been playing I don't know if it is a game of sorts. It's a tough one. But we were talking about this, and it's the Curse of the Golden Idol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically a murder mystery game, pointy clicky, but also fill in the blanks game. And it makes more sense if you actually play it. But basically, you're presented with a murder scene, and there will be little question marks that you click around, which have clues and information or people you can click on, and they will give you information, which will then turn into words that you can put into a word bank. So you have a bank of words, and so for instance, you could have like the name of the person, and you could also have, I don't know, the word pencil because the person was holding a pencil. Then you're given some tasks down the bottom of the screen to like, what's everyone's name? So you'll get a picture of the person, and then you'll get the name, but you have to work it out because you have to, they won't have like a name badge that says their name is, Kunzi11.
Yeah.
They will have somebody else will be referring to them, say, "Hey, Kunzi," and then you have to find out where he is, like on a shift sheet.
Yeah.
Somewhere else in the screen. 1-1 is over there. So you work out what they are, and there's a degree of logic puzzle to it as well.
A bit like the your main goal in Return of the Obra Dinn.
The what?
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Don't know it.
Oh my god. Okay, make that the next game you play.
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Obra Dinn, yeah.
Why?
It's brilliant, and it's a perfect one to kind of play with another person.
Okay.
In the navigator seat. But essentially, without spoiling it, because I think you just have to play it. The end goal.
You can walk about in this one, the Obra Dinn one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll find it for pennies. Trust me, just buy it and play it. And I won't say anything more about it until you do, because it's fun. But essentially, the aim of the game is to fill out like a manifest. But yeah, like you say, people won't be walking around with a name badge. So some of it's process of elimination. Some of it's, you find George's sketchbook, for example, and then a guy will be like, "Has anyone seen my?" Yeah, okay, right, that's George, kind of thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing, and basically because it's basically like 2 or 3 static screens and things are happening, and you have to piece together using detective skills what happened. So you'll be given a paragraph of text with things missing. So you need to work out that blah 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 has stabbed blah blah blah. He stabbed him because he owed him money from something that happened on June 20th. And like you have to work all this stuff out. Incidentally, I'm playing Rise of the Golden Idol, which is the sequel, which is set in the 70s, which makes it a bit fun as well because it's all 70s outfits and earth tones and things like that as well. The music is really, really good. It's way over dramatic for what it is, and it's quite unsettling. Art style, I'm still deciding whether or not I like it. It's like somebody has made it in paint.
Yeah, it's quite I guess it's a choice.
It's a choice, yeah. Or it's all they could do.
Yeah, it's certainly distinctive.
But it's really hard as well. So you will sit for ages thinking, right, okay, that did this, which took away from that. And right, that's because this. And you get that revelation as well as you're going through it, which feels a little bit like a rush of like, as if you kind of got it as a detective, and you're like, excellent, that makes more sense because of that thing. And now, so it's quite good. There is for the main game, I think there's like 5 or 6 chapters. I'm on the 5th chapter at the moment, but they've just released the DLC, and apparently the DLC, they're releasing 1 or new chapters every quarter. So basically for this year you've got another 4 coming.
Okay, great.
Which is quite cool. I think that's a nice way to do it.
Now, you were hesitant to describe it as a game. It sounds like a game to me.
I mean, you don't you click on things. It's like an old style pointy clicky. There's no moving about. There's no there's no quick skills or anything like that. You can just sit for ages looking at a paragraph of text, which makes me, whilst I'm playing it, wonder what am I doing. It's like, right.
Okay, so like it has some elements similar to like Monkey Island, right? Is Monkey Island a game? Would you say?
Look, it is a game. I shouldn't have hesitated. It is a game.
Yeah, I just wonder where your, like where your boundary is. Like, if Beneath the Steel Sky and Broken Sword and Monkey Island are games, if you take away the kind of clicking to move, I guess.
Yeah, there is no clicking to move. You're just clicking on question marks.
What does that make things less of a game? I don't know.
I don't think it makes it any less of a game. I mean, bear in mind that I'm playing Rise of the Golden Idol at the same time as I'm playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So I'm doing lightning quick combos and reversals and comparing the two together as being games.
Yeah,
it's hard.
How many unsolved murders would you give it?
To be honest, I would give it 10 out of 13.
Okay.
I think.
And do you reckon it's kind of one and done, right? Or you'd have to leave it 12 years, but you'd still be like, oh yeah, I remember this bit.
I think I've sunk like maybe 10 hours into it already.
Okay.
Probably because I'm not very smart or a very good detective. But it's also free on Netflix as well.
All right, okay.
One of these weird ones.
Yeah.
So like, if you've got a tablet, you can play it for free. If
there you
get
go.
A Netflix subscription.
There's a rec. There's a rec, readers.
I got it on PC and then found out, oh right, I could have just played this. Right, anyway. But yeah, no, it's definitely worth it. Right, shall we leave it there? Is there anything else you wanted to bring up? Any honorary measures?
So many things, but we've gone on so fucking long. So no, let's call it, and we'll have a what are you playing some other point.
Was it season 5?
Yeah, I guess.
The season that never ends.
Considering that when we first discussed this episode, I was like, I've not really been playing very much, as per usual.
We've talked 3 games.
3 games. I talked about a whole bunch of games we didn't actually play, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's just one more thing to say, Richie. That guy's a maniac.
Why'd he solve my murder?
Why'd he solve my murder? How dare he?